Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me today, and we've got a lot of news to get through. And before we talk about the main story about the murder of Alison McBlain in Blackburn, I'd like to mention some positive news that has been going on. Big shout out to My London newspaper, who do a lot of good articles in the London area. They don't do tabloid articles and they keep it factual. They have covered this story about teenagers helping to run a community food shop in Hackney in East London. Around 20 teenagers help people in the community to access food. This obviously of course highlights the fact that people in the 21st century in Britain still need access and help in relation to food, but at the same time it also does show that not all teenagers are out on the streets committing crime, as some of the newspapers will have you think. The Kingsmead estate in Hackney has been through turbulent times, they say, in the past couple of decades, with youth violence at high levels in the area. The impact of the pandemic has compounded a difficult time on the estate, with young people forced to stay indoors and unemployment soaring. Jocelyn Menz, who has spent 18 years helping young people from the area, was determined to make sure the community had some support. Through the youth organisation called Rise 365, she set up a community food shop for those on the estate struggling to make ends meet, and enlisted the help of young people in the area to provide some structure in their days. One of the young people involved in the project, Marvin, 26 years old, who is working 2 jobs at the moment. "I've lived on the estate my whole life," said Marvin, "and I've seen it change from a bad place you couldn't even walk through with a lot of crime. Jocelyn has played a big part in my life and our friends as well, and tried to help us go on the right path." The community shop provides hot meals and shopping bags with pasta, rice, oil, fruit, veg, meat for £5, and all of the money goes back into the shop. In 2020, Rise 365 had distributed 30,000 hot meals and delivered food bags to 300 households in one weekend. Jocelyn said that food is a concern for everybody, and there's pressure on a lot of families and they're losing jobs. "We want to set up a network to provide support for kids where parents can't." Brilliant work that they're doing, and also helps to motivate the young kids for when they do come out of this pandemic. They have raised £5,600 on GoFundMe, and I'd encourage anybody, if you can afford to, donate any amount. We're going to donate as well today, and I'd definitely encourage others to do so if you can.
Here at Ride, we distribute food to the community. I take care of the elderly people, so I make sure that they get their food on time, and I also take the registers in the morning. I do the planting bags and the fruit and veg bags, make sure everything's in order.
You know that.
Okay. Time to do some counting. Hello, hello. I'm just counting the people to make sure. Hello, uncle.
So big respect to Jocelyn and the team in Hackney as well. And please continue to send your positive news to be featured on the channel. The main story of this video though is about a mother called Alison McBlain who was killed, and her friend Christian Rivers, who was injured in the incident but didn't die when they were hit by a Fiat Punto on November the 19th last year. The court heard that it was driven by Kaylib Connolly, and this was in revenge for a £60 drug debt. 5 people have been jailed for their roles in the murder of the mother, who was deliberately ran over and killed for the debt. Alison McBlain, 36 years old, died from terrible unsurvivable injuries after she was hit by the Fiat Punto in the Blackburn city centre. Preston Crown Court heard the mother was walking with her friend Christian when Kaylib mounted the kerb and struck them both on CCTV. Jurors heard the pair had ordered £60 worth of crack and heroin, which they did not pay for. Alison was pronounced dead 2 days after the attack, and her 12-year-old son was at her bedside. Christian sustained injuries but were not fatal, and Connolly, 19, received life with a minimum term of 14 years for the murder of Alison and the attempted murder of the man. The jury also convicted Joshua Titterington, Karis Poynton and Dean Qayum were all found guilty of Alison's murder. John Chatwood, a fifth defendant, was found guilty of manslaughter, and a youth who cannot be named for legal reasons was cleared of all charges. The total jail sentences handed out was 78 years. Qayum, 21, was sentenced to life to serve a minimum of 20 years. Titterington, 27, was found guilty of murder and attempted GBH in relation to Mr. Rivers and received life to serve a minimum of 17 and a half. Poynton, 28 years old, was sentenced to life to serve a minimum of 13. And Chatwood was found guilty of manslaughter of Miss McBlain and not guilty of attempted murder of Christian. The 26-year-old was given a 14-year custodial sentence. And speaking after the sentencing, DCI Lee Wilson said Alison was deliberately ran over and killed in a premeditated revenge attack. She said the mother's friends and family have been left utterly heartbroken and were forced to go through the ordeal of the trial because some of them refused to admit what they did. And this would explain the extra years that was given to some people that didn't actually run her over. Because even if you was in the car, even if you were a co-defendant and you didn't directly kill them, if you go not guilty, you would definitely get longer. This story definitely highlights drug abuse and the fact that £60, it doesn't seem like a lot of money. And to be fair, when I read the story, I was surprised and shocked because firstly, when it comes to Class A drugs, there's not really a lot of trust that is given to addicts because of the fact that it's such a serious drug. Addicts will lie about a lot of situations, so in relation to credit, that is never usually the case. It's usually a cash basis. So however they did it, where they took the drugs from them and managed to leave their company in order to be able to escape, or whether it was just a random case and a rare case of somebody actually ticking a heroin addict some drugs. So it's a really sad story, especially for the son of this woman as well, and definitely makes you think about the choices that you're making every single day when you wake up and you go out to make them decisions. So I really want to hear what people have to say on these stories. Please don't forget to pay your respects to Alison in the comments. I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.